area. Executives, Senate. Today is a memorable day, a day in our own history that we shall never, ever forget. From the 14th day of February downstream, this 7th day of March, Tuesday, of which reminds us of we still in the foetus of the 14th month of transition to these dates, makes it trending the 15. Genesis 15 verses 18 talks about more of the first things we should be thinking about. The name transition, mainland, so that we can then build the continent in education. Let me introduce you to Unevictable and what she have to say right away.
Hi there, how you doing? You see, when they know they no longer have a hold on you or your progress, they start to question who qualified you. They start to say, as they said about Jesus, isn't he the son of the carpenter? Is his mother's name not Mary? Matthew 13, verse 55 to 56. How come he operates in this level of wisdom and power? We have a track record of our failures now. Is she not the same one that had a third class? What qualified her for this position? Response: Jesus qualified you, and he.
Thank you very much. Jesus qualified Yahweh. And this is the voice of one of our assistants that must be at the hard drive to be actually qualified. The mom. And today, I would like to take issues much executively in various ends and angles to qualify a true humility. You therefore have no excuse. You who pass judgments on someone else for at whatever point you judge another, you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgments do the same thing. And I thought probably this is somewhere 7:7 or 7:21 of Lebanon in Matthew that says, for the same judgment you may judge yourself, the same you will judge. Or you shouldn't remove a log from your own brother's eyes when you have got huge there. Weeks ago, God prophesied a huge river on the brim of our eyes, and it's affecting us today. A religion that is not ready to transit into its higher dimension are not welcome in my kingdom. The only thing that is change, transition, upgrading. Psalm 62 verses 1. From the very 5th day of September down to October 1st are 26 days, when you are celebrating 62nd year since 1960, October 1, Psalm 62 verses 1. Truly my soul finds rest in God, my salvation comes from him. And from there, we go straight to Psalm 1 verses 1. Somebody's son don't find me one day. Blessed is the name that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. The government of today condemn righteousness because godliness is the key word, and ungodliness are civil society disobedience towards my kingdom, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor seated in the seat of the scornful, but he delights is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night. Let's start from Igbo. To Igbo Shire, to Igbo Oshire, meaning we take it from Lagos to Ogun. They will cross multiply it at Ivo, Abakaliki, capital of Ebonyi. In the Golden States and in the Greater Lagos, Ebonyi was the first state in the Golden State to be recarved, but not in the previous lobes and borders. This one takes us from area command here down straight in the plan B, that we can still rekindle the uptown policy station to move through the satellites and the atlas into a church somewhere there, and then take it up. It's like the P1 is taken up to P1 plus. P1 plus. We are then begin to look at what is in Jeremiah 10 verses 1 in this 10th week, Tuesday, the 7th of May, March 2023. Hear ye the word which the Lord spake unto you, O house of Israel. And that's where I might be moving straight right here to a 9 year ago, where there are issues and why we have been wishing y'all all good luck.
Welcome. Finally, we made it. It's a pleasure. It's my pleasure to welcome here in Israel, in the Holy Land, and in Jerusalem, the President of Nigeria, Mr. Goodluck Jonathan. I think that this is a meeting long overdue and much welcomed. We've had excellent relations between our countries, and they're improving even as we speak over the past few years. But this is the first visit of a president of Nigeria in Israel, and I'm sure it will not be the last. It is something that will give us an opportunity to strengthen our ties even more. I look forward to doing that in every field, trade and investment and tourism. There are thousands of pilgrims from Nigeria that visit Israel. We would welcome many more, and we'd like Israelis to go to Nigeria. Many are going as business people who are increasingly interested in the investment possibilities of Nigeria. We are a partnership of peoples and a partnership of interests, and the key interest is fighting terrorism. I know, Mr. President, that you have been plagued by the scourge. I want you to know that Israel has been on the front lines of fighting terrorism for many years, and we've done so successfully, and we stand ready to help all responsible nations fight terrorism. You're a responsible leader of a friendly nation, a responsible nation. We stand with you in your great effort to stamp out terrorism.
Yes, terrorism is one, and you yourself sound more the terrorist. You will in 5 years be a Palestinian. You will in 5 years, within 5 years, you will be a king somewhere at nothing. Again, I noticed that you had been a good commentator on the issues of Israel and Palestine of no resolution. And that's why I remind you that some issues are already resolved by the directories, and which I want you to upgrade your mind in it. I will have accepted you now in the San Francisco deal, but you are not knowing Zion is up there and actually is right here, and I will fag it through the ninth week into the 10th week, and not without your consent. We are the G3 with you and UK, and in this, what we might have learned in this early morning sermon before this broadcast are of various issues, and I want to first encourage you to learn to prophesy so that you can, even in just a 5 seconds message, is very, very important. So I welcome this floor to Ebele Goodluck Jonathan to also approve his remark.
Also to soon receive you
Thank you.
in Nigeria. So I was here in 2007, December 2007. Then I was a few months old as the vice president of my country. But since I assumed office, I have not been able to come. I said that I must try and come to the state of Israel before the next round of elections coming up in 2015. So we are here primarily for that, but we feel that let us use this unique opportunity.
So
Okay.
welcome.
Okay.
So welcome to Jerusalem.
Thank you. Now, the election of 2015 to these elections are 8 fucking years, and Bola is still proven successful. He learned to prophesy. He learned to hand over the programs, if that I should be able to find them, then use them on commentary. What you do? Now, these are the slight areas I would like Yahoo to take the icing on the cake. Now, let's have it.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Global Prime Minister, Sir Benjamin Diao. Let me commend you and your government for what you've been doing for the world generally. Specifically, I came to your beautiful city for religious reasons. I came in on Thursday morning, and since we came in, myself and my delegation have very warm welcome from our brothers and sisters from this great country of Israel. And we are quite pleased with that. Thank you very sincerely. And just like you said, Nigeria and the state of Israel have very warm relationship. Even though at the top level, there's a limited exchange of business, which I believe my coming here this time will open that door for us also to soon receive you
Thank you.
in Nigeria. So I was here in 2007, December 2007. Then I was a few months old as the vice president of my country. But since I assumed office, I have not been able to come. I said that I must try and come to the state of Israel before the next round of elections coming up in 2015. So we are here primarily for that, but we feel that let us use this unique opportunity to have this little bilateral talk to further strengthen the ties between Nigeria and the state of Israel. You've been helpful to us in quite a number of ways. We appreciate your level of technology in terms of in agriculture, in construction, ICT, intelligence, and other areas that you've been quite useful to us, and we believe that we need to even strengthen more. But let me commend you and appreciate you in one achievement we got this evening, at this late afternoon, the signing of the bilateral air service agreement. That has been on the drawing board. And a number of Nigerians come to Israel annually. In fact, last year, about 30,000 people came on pilgrimage. And outside that, the number of regular visitors, which are also significant, because Nigeria is one country that people are very, very mobile. Before we come to the state of Israel, we have to pass through third-party countries. Either you pass through Egypt, or pass through London, you pass through Turkey, other places. At least with what has happened today, our next set of people that will come will be able to fly directly to the state of Israel. And it will also help because we have over 50 Israeli companies handling various responsibilities in Nigeria and doing very well in civil engineering, in power sector, and of course ICT, defense, and so on. And I believe these people will also want to move directly from Tel Aviv to either Lagos or Abuja, and vice versa. So I have to commend you. It's a major feat, and we are all pleased. Nigerians are happy with you. You mentioned these issues of security globally, and it's quite worrisome. Today is like the world is divided into some people who want society to live in crisis, and also those who want society to live peacefully. And Nigeria belongs to this country. I believe that the world must be a peaceful world. And I will continue to work with you and other well-meaning nations and individuals to ensure that we live in a peaceful world. We also believe that nuclear power now should be used for economic purposes of maybe medicine, agriculture, but not for the purpose of destroying human lives. There's no need for necessary beneficiation to the extent that you become a threat to the global society. And that has been our belief whenever we go for the programs on discussion on the nuclear. That has been the position of Nigeria. So we'll continue to work with the rest of the world to see that we all live in peace. For us and Israel, we have so many areas that we think we can work together. The areas of power, the areas of agriculture, water resources management, that you are experts. You've been able to conquer your environment, and we appreciate that technology, and we believe that you help us tremendously in also conquering our own environment, though slightly different environment. But we have a number of Israelis working in Nigeria that are quite conversant with our environment. They are quite aware about our investment opportunities. Before this time, most key areas of our economy were controlled by the federal government. Issues of power were almost exclusively controlled by the federal government. Even the subnational government states had no powers to generate power for commercial purposes except for rural electrification projects, not to talk about our ports, either airports or seaports, our road infrastructure, our railways. All these were monopolized by the federal government. But we're opening up all these areas for private sector investment. So we believe that government can only create the environment while the private sector drives the economy. So the country has opened up for investment, and we have very vibrant businessmen and women from the state of Israel. So I believe my comment today will further open opportunities for our businessmen and women for the purpose of our own economic growth. And once again, on behalf of my delegation, I thank you for this warm reception. We believe that this will be the beginning of even a stronger relationship between Nigeria and the state of Israel. Undoubtedly.
Thank you very much. At this point, two of you are very brilliant. I would have come to you with Ashkelon. Yes, you could. On this point, I note nuclear power to be used for more economic purposes, and that's in the beginning of the plan B, where you can see education, teaching, and providing, and then talk about oxygenation, tree of life, tree of Galilee, climate change, planting of trees, just go wet, run. From this point, we have it land into issues of medicine, that loots. We have agriculture. We've never spoken more about that until when pension is coming up. Then to advise people to go into agriculture, and that is now noted and shall be online. We have issue of water resources and management. We've got that. We have seaports. We have airports. We have electrical power directly controlled by who heads the head G. Whether a king, whether a governor, whether a prime minister, whether a mayor, whether a chairman somehow, or a chancellor, or any form of DPO or area command. This is one thing about this area command, to face the other side where an institution is facing the sun. the rising of the sun, and are legit, but that electric is basically now controlled not by that access point, but by the area command. I think this one is a real judgment. As we've heard merely, but about judging one another, sub submarine or submaterials. I'll try to look at that. That's not reflecting more in your statement. But roads, yeah, submarines. But road are also one key. That one had brought us to an essential individual in the Greater Lagos. We also have 9, the private partners by soldering to go in lieutenants and head them, receive ranks. Yeah, we talk about airports and aircraft here and there, about 10, railway. At this point, this is not different from the occupation police at the San Francisco, Jordan, with a 300 million Africa pound investment, at where we have a small area command, then it begins to have to do with a power that is futuristically growing from there to form its own unity as Israel of Pentecost, and should not alienate itself from the rules of the majesty. Think with him and what preach, you practice it, you find peace, you find faith, you find progress, you find unity with the government of Jordan, knowing fully well that Jesus' ministry actually started with baptisms in Jordan, and that's what's important to what a nation of Israel today is than that of a Palestine. Before we round off today's decision on the ceremony of the 21-day Shiloh come to an end in a plan B established, basically and fact figured, we would see from this end. Let me get it right here. Okay, another one here, okay, here. We will see from this end partial relationship that give me a minute to put them together. All right. So therefore, from here, apart from the message of the Europe Federation President von der Leyen in the Plan B, she needs to let go the European Union and as of EU installed in Abuja as a local government as of municipal. Despite we have Kosovo, we have abandoned Abuja for now, but the further notice when we can now come up to a greater sense of such. From here, I hope we all are on the same page. We're now on the same page, but we would like to go back to review what somebody has in mind 8 years ago. In the nations and why we abandon it, as long as we have another small area, just a 20-pound motorcycle by road will take us from either of the side of Kogi, east or west, into which also had increased our states on the mainland to be 37. We adopted one, that was Greater Lagos, one have to go. We created Lassie of IT, make it 37 again. We then have 6 states as a golden state, bringing it back to 31st, thereabout. Now forging and going back, make it again 32 states, and then we still have about 5 states still a state within the golden states. And then we are still looking at Ondo. If Naomi was able to become consort, then we put Ondo there for her to shape it, but she turned it down. So we still have 5 states 5 states that we can actually become 37. The states, the temperature of the body is 37 degree at the temperature, so we must make it at least nothing less than 37 or 37 so that we can have. Now we have a low blood pressure of the mainland. Yet, to put Kogi east and west, add one, so we have now 4 other states to go. You can be an investor. You can put it in your name, you can put it in your children's name, you can put it in your business name, you can put it in your nation name, you can put it in your continent name, you can put it in your bank names, you can put it in your motto names, you can put it in anyone. I'll be securing one. Benin is one of those states in at stake, and Edo is there. We have investment in Edo as well. But I hope we are on one page, the same page, that this document must agree as not as flawless, but by moving Shiloh out of the previous most corrupt nation, Abuja, mainland. So I am applying the formation of 8th National Assembly, Africa, that dots one single party from the next for the next 1999 years. And this one has brought us to a random conclusion about if Buhari had actually prophesied mainland in this speech, then I would admit with him. He never prophesied. Learn to prophesy. Bible says that if there are no prophecy, there is no existence of righteousness and godliness. And we must learn to prophesy. If I let you go, that we listen to what is of Europe Federation that suggests that Igbo Shere should be commissioned by me to actually tackle Igbo Oshere, that's at Atonlugu Alaro, that is west, east, north, west, east, not looked done. It was previously Ijebu northeast, so we have to have northeast, west now. Other central area of focus where Shiloh like to look into there. Shiloh like to look at the Bush Shere, Alimosho area. Shiloh like to go to Ivo around the boy, we have not yet stretched Enugu together, and then the lion's share there. We used to call it in these states lion's share. So we have 3 states now to go among the golden states. I just keep to that knowledge. So if a nation is bearing lion's share, why can't it be bearing Mercedes Benz? Why can't it be bearing Bentley? Why can't it be bearing Nitel? Why can't it be bearing NNPC? Why can't it be bearing George Bush Foundation? We also look in here to round up the day by quickly bringing Yahoo a statement of this brilliant man who signed the same signature with I. He signed a centered presidency in a document 14 Act, and I signed the same, but it's not the same. The two sides are the same. It's just more or less a 2022 Act, but we're now in 2023. So, but that one that I signed now can manifest between Plan A and B, that there were presidency going on there, and in Plan B, there's a new presidency issues, which are likely to be centered not beyond the 24 hours. Listen.
Until I read and digest the voluminous submissions from His Excellency the President, I don't think I'll be in a position to make any strong contribution.
There he actually have no element of evil in his conduct throughout his 8 years. But that very disobedience that he triggered into the G2 and G3 in 2023 actually made the kingdom to react more like a red blood cell and a white blood cell reacted against him. And I got a prosecution against him to fulfill a four-way drive to be between E and I in the same act with both sides, which your own side there is gone, and the other side here of mine is like you choose Atiku, I choose Bola. Yes, the four of us can still do it, but the 1/3 of it to your side is that I have no single 1/1 of anything to add to it. Brings down the price of that resource rights 2014, which means you will divide the price into 4, and that 1/1 aspect goes away. Standardized rate of dollar and naira at common gram at to go. In this memory, we would always remember you for good, even while you still face your deals in court when that is not achieved today. That we can call that breakthrough. Evidence of Shiloh. There's a minute opportunity for breakthrough. Let's listen to this great lady. She's got few things to tell us. The Excellency, First Female President of Europe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Russia's invasion has brought unspeakable suffering to Ukraine. Almost 1 year ago, the world discovered the horrors of Bucha. I was there myself, and I have witnessed the atrocities committed by Russian forces. There is increasing evidence of direct attacks against civilians, as well as on energy and other infrastructure, torture, ill treatment, sexual violence, and summary executions are known to have been committed by Russian forces. Not even children are being spared. Russia must be held accountable for these horrific crimes, and Putin must be held accountable. We must do everything in our power to bring the perpetrators to justice. The European Union is supportive of the role of the International Criminal Court. We also believe that there needs to be a dedicated tribunal to prosecute Russia's crime of aggression. And I'm proud that at this conference, as a first step, you will sign the agreement to set up the International Center for Prosecution of the Crime of Aggression in The Hague. The European Union will continue to work with our partners to ensure that Russia pays. We stand united for justice for Ukraine.
Thank you very much, ladies. First, and as we prayers, if there's $1 or $2 somewhere, let's have it. She's 48 here. And by August 13, she'll be trying to detect what someone will be a victim of Passover. So she's got a lot of time to read 49. And whether we have a four-way drive, 999, there will be a reason why you and I all have to understand what is going on at Ibushi right now. That's by the will of God. That is established. That Ibushi now will continue today to understand about education. A man with huge amount of wisdom, influence, is worthwhile to be a judge, a king. So the factorship that if I had placed my judgments in Laos, somewhere in Goa, a small country like Austin or Dunstan, or some area like I used to do London, before I said William should move to London, I should move to Wales. It was like, Wales is very big and London is very small. You should probably challenge the city of London But William instead is looking at the will, a good will of today. That actually he should be more happier that his father actually continued to tackle Buhari. But he was looking at a will that is the actual, that he can purchase and still tell Buhari to go to life imprisonment. This is the aspect of judgment, to review issues, look deep into them, and I hope we should know what to do. All around the world, we thank you so much, man, that we can actually want to survive a true humility that justifies us badly. Respect for God and for His ways inclines us to humility, avec true simplicity of heart. That the heart had totally failed. Totally failed. It doesn't come up again forever. The willing readiness to seek the one true good, who is God Himself. What is the true nature of the true humility avec? What should we embrace? It as essential for our life. If the heart country is now moving to the east, if the heart country is now moving to the west, and why not? We can easily mistake humility as of how Shiloh left Africa for America. Now moving to which part of Israel, of the Pentecost, where a kind of light is dropping on people. And God said they should remain there till they receive that power. Having received that power in San Francisco, Jordan, true humility goes by like aerial command, and then P1 plus, just like occupation police gives a zygote and people coming around to bring a conception, and that's very begin to, you cannot say what is going to be a male or female, a court, a senate, a national assembly. True humility is not feeling bad about what Abuja is today. Just mere piece of land, empty until they are refilled as soldiers. True humility free us from preoccupation. Where do we hear the outcome of our cry? Who is at fault? Where has a low self-opinion tend to focus our attention on ourselves? Who is not too young to run? Florida governor knows if he is too young to run or not. Is truth or true self, or to trust in self-understanding about truth in action. The word of God represents truth. Viewing ourselves with honesty, yes, with sober judgment. Honestly means seeing ourselves the way God sees us. Psalm 139 verses 1 to 4. A humble person makes a realistic assessment of oneself without illusion or pretense to be something not or something one is not. A truly humble person regards oneself neither smaller nor larger than one's truly is. True humility frees us to be ourselves as God regards us and to avoid falling into despair and pride. A humble person does not want to wear a mask or put on a facade in order to look good to others. Such a person is not swayed by accidentals such as fame, reputation, successes or failure. Do you know the joy of Christ, like humility and simplicity of heart? Our nations need historians or makes the king talk unnecessarily. From this point, a job is out there. Apart from government generalship that kingdoms still look deeply into, inspecting it generally, worldwide, we are at a recession of the global village. We are taking the global gateway plan, and we need soldering. That when his kingdom is upon your soldiers, that is where we stand. But still, humility is the queen or foundation. Where you have a queen, you are elementary commencing and commissioning of all other virtues because it enables us to see judging issues correctly. That's where I stand. The way God sees humility helps us to be teachable. That's where I stand. So we can acquire true knowledge. That's where I stand. As such commerce grant wisely. Wisdom, as Paul Allen had talked about, that the area become Allen Avenue, of course, but that of Paul. An honest view of reality, a stone throw into the uptown, within a limit of all of this, it directs our energy. Israel knows now it's got a zeal. Don't waste your time, Palestinians. It's all about the Pentecostal Israel. And will to give ourselves that we had not chosen a member of the G3 inside Palestine, but we need a port from within Palestine to move to the area command of the occupation police, filled with incense. I've once said that the whole world regarded. That's a sperm going to a zygote. Then ourselves, humility free us to love and serve others willingly, as Palestine will serve Israel of the Pentecost. They still say, what? Humility. A proof that we have no enmity. And if enmity will comes up in there, there's none in the word of God. And selflessly, for their own sake, trace those sounds and where those noises are coming from. Every noise should be subdued. Make sure you listen from the beginning. What noise? Make no sounds at all. A sound that rather than for us own, Paul, the apostle, gives us the greatest examples and model of humility in the person of Jesus Christ, but still Christ Jesus, of whom we now are emptied himself. Somebody will say they are now pouring, you better Paul Allen to you, taking the form of a servant, and who humbled himself and became obedient unto death. For one reason, he has power over it. We should not give up what we don't have power over. Prove your parts and walk away. Somebody else is coming there to crack it down. And that's where I stand. Even death on a cross. Do you want to be a servant of Jesus, loved and served others? The Lord Jesus gives us his heart, east or west. Kogi, the heart of a servant who seeks the good of others and puts their interest first. Of Yahya Bello. Of one side of St. John, which now is one of my castle, and your side, education, of course. What do you think you need in Yahaya? What do you think you need at other side? I have not Islamized my house. How will I Islamize my country? To speak Arabic is different to Islamize. Islam is yet to have its own university. Until then, it's not believed to be put in there as having interest first in his care and concern for them. At this time, find a good university you can attend. One of them is the Oxford headquarters. The form there right now is at a $100,000. Of what interest? First, you will always be the first.